On the news, residents stage protests block roads in Minna over high living costs. Central Bank of Nigeria says no payment for invalid FX backlog. And court dismisses bail request for Fubara's loyalists. Many thanks for joining us on News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I'm Tamilore Akin. We begin with the residents of Minna, the capital of Niger State, who took to the streets on Monday to protest the escalating cost of living across the country, leading to the blockage of major roads within the metropolis. The protesters, comprising women and youths, vocalized their grievances through protest songs, while law enforcement agencies, including policemen, observed the situation. Citing the surge in the prices of essential food items and expressing dissatisfaction with the perceived inadequacy of government actions in addressing the situation, the protesters strategically blocked major roads, aiming to draw attention to their concerns and prompt government intervention. Deputy Governor Yakubu Gaba of Niger State, responding to the demonstrators, acknowledged the hardship faced by families during these challenging times. He assured the protesters that the government is actively working on the initiative to alleviate the cost of living burdens and mitigate the repercussion of the recent removal of petrol subsidy. The surge in insecurity across the country, marked by a significant rise in kidnapping incidents, has sparked diverse reaction regarding the contentious issue of paying ransom. The federal government's recent cautionary advisory urging families of victims not to comply with kidnappers' ransom demands has also intensified the debate. Speaking on TV 360 Nigeria, former director of the Department of State Services, Mike Ejiofor, says ransom payments can serve as a tactic to nail the kidnappers using marked currencies to trail them to their hideouts. On his part, security expert Dennis Amakri, also a former director of the Department of State Services, says ransom payment would further encourage and embolden the kidnappers in their crimes. He called for proper training of security forces and enough supply of weapons and accurate funding of Nigeria's security sector.
Government position is that people should not pay ransom, and I agree that people should not pay ransom. But unless you are affected or a relation of yours is affected, you will now know whether you pay ransom or not. So the fact remains that the choice is left for the victim's relations to either cooperate with the police or the security agencies to ensure that before ransoms are paid, there are ways of trying to get this money that is being used to be marked. You recall how the former central bank governor, the wife was kidnapped, Emefiele, and the money was marked, and they were tracked, and the people were arrested. But most people in the society or victims wouldn't want to cooperate with the security agencies to get this money marked, and the kidnappers also threatened that we get the police involved. So in such rescue, they will kill the victims. So they are caught in between the blue sea, and it becomes a problem either to get your people released and released safe, or work with the security agencies and jeopardize the life of your relations.
Then they don't kill hostages. Now they are killing hostages. In fact, there is an extreme case where they still collect the ransom and kill the hostage, or the hostage has been killed or is dead, and they still go ahead and negotiate and then collect the ransom. Now, all these are because of dysfunctions in the kidnap process. Because in the kidnapping process, it's a process. You don't allow families to go and negotiate with kidnappers. There should be special, that's what I'm telling you. You have to equip the police and even the DSS. Equip them with negotiators, people who will talk to hostage negotiators. And when professionals are talking to them, you don't have to negotiate on a dead hostage. because we have what we call proof of life. And that proof of life, as you are talking with them, every day you talk to them, you will also talk to the hostage, so that you know that the person you are negotiating for is alive. You don't just go and be talking, begging and all that. No, it's not a begging issue, you know, and the person who is kidnapped cannot negotiate for himself. These are all things that are supposed to be done. Now they are killing people. And, you know, because we are not following the proper way of the hostage kidnapping negotiation process.
Justice Mobolaji Olajuwon of the Federal High Court in Abuja has declined bail to 5 individuals from Port Harcourt, allegedly aligned with Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, charged them with terrorism offences, including the burning of the Rivers State House of Assembly complex last year. Their bail applications, presented and argued by Lukman Fagbemi, were rejected and dismissed by Justice Olajuwon on the grounds of lacking merit. The judge asserted that the defendant failed to present special circumstances justifying their release from remand at the Kuje Correctional Center in Abuja. Justice Olajuwon emphasized that Chime Ezebalike and Prince Oladele in particular did not provide compelling and verifiable evidences to support their bail requests. Furthermore, the judge highlighted that being charged with terrorism offences, the defendants were not eligible for ordinary bail. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, asserted the central bank will not honor $2.4 billion invalid FX backlog claims. Cardoso explained that his leadership inherited a $7 billion FX backlog from the previous administration, and a forensic investigation by Deloitte Management Consultant revealed that $2.4 billion of these claims were invalid due to issues like invalid import document, non-existent entities, and discrepancies in beneficiary requests. Cardoso emphasized that these invalid claims will not be paid, and efforts are focused on settling the outstanding $2.2 billion valid FX backlog after already settling $2.3 billion in requests. He also added that foreign portfolio investors are eager to return to the country based on the reforms of the current administration. Now, joining me to discuss the claim by the CBN governor about invalid FX backlog is Economist Akin Ogunshola. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Ogunshola. Now, can you tell us what you make of the CBN's governor's claim about $2.4 billion FX backlog being invalid and the implication here?
Yeah, I think the CBN government might be right, because we all know that the corruption in the system, especially in the last administration, has been so enormous. And this current administration has actually unraveled some of these corrupt practices. We see forex backlogs that are invalid. They are submitting invalid documents and other invalid transactions, and wanting to claim forex for these transactions. Yeah, it's a welcome development for the CBN not to pay the 2.4 billion naira invalid forex. And that will also help to strengthen the naira, because the monetary policy now, the policies that the CBN is actually rolling out, is actually to aid strengthening the naira against the dollar. And these are part of the policies to see that the forex backlogs are cleared. The ones that are invalid, they should just suspend those ones until, people, the owners of these funds, come to claim them with valid documents, which is very, very correct.
All right, so Mr. Akin Ogunshola, how does the CBN's decision influence market confidence and the perception of foreign investors towards the Nigerian economy?
Yeah, already with the news of CBN clearing the backlogs, this alone will strengthen, the confidence of investors. Investors will now be willing to come, knowing now that, okay, their forex will not be tied down or will not be locked down in Nigerian economy. The CBN is always there to ensure that forex is being repatriated to foreign investors that have come to do business in Nigeria. This will actually encourage them. Most of the investors that have left the country left or stopped business because they felt chunk of their funds are being tied down, in the name of CBN not being able to clear the backlogs. So these have affected, investors' confidence that, okay, if we bring our money into the Nigerian economy, they are going to get tied down and locked down. But with what the CBN is doing now, is one of the strategies to boost investors' confidence for them to bring, their funds and invest into the economy of Nigeria, thereby boosting the inflow of foreign exchange into the country's foreign exchange reserves. So it's a welcome development.
All right, thank you for lending in your thought, Mr. Ogunshola. Now, coming up next after this short break on News Now, Toby Amuson smashes new African indoor record in 60-meter hurdles. Stay tuned for more details.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. Now a quick recap of our top stories. Residents of Minna, the capital of Niger State, took to the streets on Monday to protest the escalating cost of living across the country, leading to the blockage of major roads within the metropolis, citing the surge in the prices of essential food items and expressing dissatisfaction with the perceived inadequacy of the government's action in addressing the situation. Responding to the demonstration, Deputy Governor Yakubu Gaba of Niger State acknowledged the hardship faced by families and assured that the government is working to make things easier for citizens. We also told you that the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, has said that the central bank will not honor $2.4 billion in valid FX backlog claims. According to the Apex Bank governor, a forensic investigation by Deloitte Management Consultants revealed that $2.4 billion of these claims were invalid due to issues like invalid import documents, non-existent entities, and discrepancies in beneficiary requests. Cardoso emphasized that these invalid claims will not be paid, and efforts are focused on settling the outstanding $2.2 billion valid FX backlog after settling around $2.3 billion in requests. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Limes World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. It's now time for Business and Stock Market Report. Okpeyemi Owosheni has the latest. Okpe, over to you.
Thank you, Tamilore. Hello and welcome to Business News. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on Sunday visited the headquarters of China Railway Rolling Stock Corporation in Dalian, China, to conclude transactional conversations with the top management of the company on the purchase of rolling stock for the blue and red rail lines of the state. Governor Sanwo-Olu reiterated his government's commitment to alleviating traffic congestion in Lagos, aligning with the traffic management and transportation pillar developmental agenda. During the meeting, the governor urged the China Railway Rolling Stock Corporation, responsible for delivering the Blue Line train, to provide additional rolling stock for both the red and blue lines by the end of the year.
CRRC train manufacturing plant. They are manufacturers for the existing Blue Line trains, and we've also come here to further other new rolling stock of both the red line and additional rolling stock for the blue line. It's a very impressive facility. They've been in this business for over 100 years, and they are indeed one of the foremost and known coach, train, and manufacturers in the world. As you can see, these are all finished products that has been done for other cities, and I'm sure, like you've seen the red ones, the ones for Lagos too will be on this track very, very soon. And we're indeed excited that we're also bringing the technology back to us in Lagos. They've agreed with us, given the number of rolling stock we're procuring, that there's a need for us to have a joint maintenance conversation. And we've seen that indeed when we collaborate like this, we're not just doing procurement, we're actually doing knowledge and skill transfer.
We'll go on a break and be back with Stock Market Report. The Nigeria equities market began the first week of the day of trading on a negative note, reducing by 0.73%. The market breadth also ended on a negative note as 27 stocks advanced and 28 stocks declined. So Abe Mortgage Bank led the laggard with an end of the price appreciation, depreciating by 9.7%, followed closely by livestock feeds. Abe ended with 2 naira 70 kobo and livestock ended with 1 naira 87 kobo. Now at the end of the first day of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, as NGX, a total of 841 million volumes of shares were exchanged in 13,674 deals, corresponding to a market value of over 19 billion were traded. Now let's take a look at our select global stock. Our global equities maintained a southward movement as well, as the UK FTSE and US Dow Jones maintained a bearish trade, closing at 0.033% and 0.97%, leaving just Japan's Nikkei in a bullish trade at 0.54%. Well, that wraps up our bulletin of both business and stock market report. Back to you, Tamilore, for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Okpeyemi. On the global scene, Senegalese authorities have shut down internet connection in the country shortly after President Macky Sall postponed the presidential election indefinitely. The shutdown followed widespread protests which trailed the postponement of the election earlier scheduled for February 25, 2024. The internet shutdown was announced on Sunday in a statement by the country's Minister of Communication, Telecommunication and Digital Affairs. Meanwhile, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has urged the authorities in Senegal to urgently choose a new date for the country's presidential election. And up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
It wasn't a good time for Nigeria at the 63rd Grammys Award held on February 5, 2024 in Los Angeles, as all the nominated Nigeria artists lost in their categories respectively. Despite his loss in all his 4 nominations at the Grammys, the African giant made history with his impressive performance as he became the first Afrobeat act to perform on the main stage. The highlight of Burna Boy's performance was during his hit single Sitting on Top of the World, when he was joined by American singer Brandy and rapper 21 Savage to give an electrifying performance. Still on Grammy news, American rapper Killer Mike has been arrested for alleged physical altercation backstage at the award ceremony. The rapper was handcuffed and escorted out by the police over an alleged physical argument at the event. Mike's arrest came after his staggering three-time win at the event. He won Grammy for the Best Rap Song, the Best Rap Performance, and the Best Rap Album. His new wins were his first since 2003, when he was honored for the Best Rap Performance. And that's it on the entertainment segment on News Now. Ibanigo Queen, TV360 News, Lagos.
And on sport, in a high-stake encounter with the goal of securing a spot in the 2023 AFCON final, the Super Eagles and Bafana are set to renew their intensifying rivalry on the field in Bouake, Northern Ivory Coast this Wednesday. South Africa showcased resilience in a hard-fought victory over Cape Verde, triumphing 2-1 in a penalty shootout. This sets the stage for an action-packed clash against the three-time champions, Nigeria. Our correspondent Sydney Okafor has more details.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria's much anticipated opponent has been confirmed as Bafana, a familiar opponent, after goalkeeper Owen Williams was the hero as South Africa defeated Cape Verde 2-1 on penalties in a goalless 120 minutes to advance to their fourth ever AFCON semi-final. Super Eagles had earlier secured passage to the semi-finals of the AFCON after a hard-fought 1-0 win over giant killers Angola, making it Nigeria's 16th appearance in the semi-final of AFCON tournament. Despite this renewed rivalry, Nigeria has a historical advantage over South Africa in head-to-head encounters. Sport analysts believe it will be a walk in the park for the Super Eagles.
I don't see any reason why we should be discussing South Africa in the first place. First off, we have history behind us. About 11 games, they've lost 9. So that one apart, that's just history though. But I've seen South Africans play. They are more comfortable playing a team that has the midfield intact. They're coming from the midfield. We don't do that. We come from the wings. That will be a problem. And you look at the South African team and compare to the Super Eagles based on quality, character, the urge to want to win. South Africa don't have that much than we have. Should be thinking about who will meet in the finals now. I don't want to be Cote d'Ivoire. But South Africa will not be as hard a test as Angola was. No.
This sports analyst believes sports politics cannot prevent the Super Eagles if they utilize their chances, despite the fact that the newly elected CAF president is from South Africa.
If it has to do with politics, Mosepe does not know how to play the politics than some other Africa. So let the players do their job on the field of play. No matter how well they play politics, there's no how you score a goal, a clear goal that the referee will rule out. Sometimes you play and you confuse the referee. Sometimes you play, you confuse the administrator. All you just need to do as a player, I'm talking about the Super Eagles right now, don't lose sleep, don't lose concentration, don't lose focus. The aim is the final, the target is the trophy.
Football fans believe that Jose Pesero's and his team's outstanding performance have singled them as favourite to win the tournament.
South Africa as a team has never been that a major threat to Nigerian football. If you look at the history between Nigeria and South Africa. So they have never posed a threat, and currently they are not posing any.
Bafana is not a challenge. For me, it's not a challenge. I'm already seeing the cup coming home. You understand? Going with even other motivational factors. Nigerian youth are strongly behind them. So we have all it takes. So we are bringing the cup home.
The three-time AFCON champion Nigeria, who are ranked 44 in the world, and the world ranked 66 team South Africa, the 1996 AFCON winners, semi-final match will kick off on Wednesday at the Stade de la Pierre in Bouake in Ivory Coast. Sydney Okafor, TV360, Lagos.
Still on sport, Toby Amuson has set a new African women's indoor record in 60 meters after running 7.75 seconds at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix in Boston. Amuson's 7.75 seconds performance at Boston when she retired the 7.77 record she earlier set at Astana Indoor Meeting in January. Though an African record, the 7.75 effort was not enough for first position in Boston, as Amuson came second behind America's Tia Jones, who finished in 7.72 seconds. Amuson had on January 27 in opening race of the new athletic season, beating the African record set by compatriot Gloria Alozie. And that wraps up our bulletin on news now. Many thanks for watching. I'm Tamilore Akin. Bye for now.